You might have heard, though attributed to Anne Lamott, the saying that an expectation is a resentment waiting to happen. Or I prefer I believe it's out of the 12-step movement, a hidden expectation is a resentment under construction. Hidden expectation is an expectation we have that we don't know we have. It's hidden from us. And it usually comes from how we grow up, learning how the world is supposed to be and what things mean and so on. And I learned this sometime after the ending of my first marriage, that I had a hidden expectation that was actually sabotaging my own happiness. It didn't sabotage the marriage particularly, but it was, and it worked like this. I told my then wife that I wanted to be an equal parent. And she took me at my word, and I think I was an equal parent. In fact, I think I was slightly more than an equal parent, to catch my drift. But here's the thing. I didn't realize till long after that I really believed that it was her job, and I was being a hero, and I wasn't getting praised. I wasn't getting thanked. She was just taking me at my word. My own hidden expectation, which I didn't know I had, was sabotaging my own happiness. See how that works? I think Martha has a hidden expectation, and it leads to a resentment. So look what happens. Martha, Jesus and his disciples come into the village, and Martha offers gracious and wonderful hospitality, and she's running around getting things going, and her sister is sitting at the feet of Jesus, not helping. It's not okay with Martha. And so the first thing she does is tries to get some measure of agreement from Jesus that this is not okay. She tries to triangulate Jesus into supporting her against her sister, right? Lord, tell my sister to help me. We got a lot of jobs to do to feed all you people. And Jesus says, no, I'm not going to get hooked by that. I'm not going to get drawn in. You're distracted by many things, Martha. We all know how good it is when we are feeling righteous, to have someone agree with us, and to know how good that is. And Jesus doesn't bite. He's not going to pit one group against another group, especially in light of the fact we've just heard the story of the Good Samaritan. Later this summer, something will occur that is usually every 10 years, but has been messed around by COVID. And it's called the Lambeth Conference. It's a gathering of basically all of the bishops of the Anglican Communion from throughout the world are invited to a meeting in England. And this year, unfortunately, in my view, at least 3 African primates, archbishops, and many of the people in their care, bishops in their care, are not coming to the meeting because they will not put on the agenda homosexuality yet again, so that those people can make sure that the Anglican Communion condemns it. Now, I wish they would come. I don't think they will. But it seems to me that Jesus is saying, one thing you need, listen to each other. We're not going to expect agreement, but we can all turn to what is most important, toward what really matters, and allow it to shape our lives, our cultures, our communities, even if we're not all on the same page. It's what we do, in a sense, when we gather around the table. We come from all kinds of different backgrounds and opinions, and we all come around the table saying, I desire you, Lord. Yes, Lord. And I'm sorry those bishops won't do that. But Jesus would say to them, you're distracted by many things. One thing you need. Well, what is that one thing that Martha needs? Maybe it's listening to Jesus. Many commentators have used this to talk about the importance of contemplation preceding action in the Christian faith. And I suppose that's all right, but I don't think that's what's going on. I think Jesus is saying, Martha, you've got to somehow come to terms with the fact you resent your sister. That you've got an expectation that it's a woman's job, and particularly women of the household, to provide the hospitality, and she's not helping, and you need to talk to her about that. And maybe she will say, let's both listen to Jesus for a while, and then we can do the jobs. Or let's both listen to Jesus a while, and then maybe the men can help. It's that radical idea. We invited them in, but they just happened to be passing. But the point is to have a conversation that isn't just reactive to something that we haven't examined. I was as a child in boarding schools, it doesn't take a psychiatrist to work this out, but I was very, very taken with World War II prisoner of war escape literature. But one of the things that prisoners who were about to escape were often taught was how to smoke a pipe. Because if they were questioned, they could then fiddle with the pipe. There's a lot of fiddling that goes on with the pipe. You tamp the tobacco and you light it and you puff and it goes out, which means they could be questioned by a German soldier and not immediately give themselves away. They were buying some time so that they responded rather than reacted. And that's what Mary is needful of. Listen to Jesus, choose your response, be aware of what you're carrying, and then you can perhaps still be angry with your sister, but it's a choice and not a reaction. A hidden expectation is a resentment under construction. Is there anything you resent at the moment? Anything that makes you feel resentful? Well, take a look at what you really expect. Maybe take a look at how things were when you were growing up. And it will often allow us to come to know what we're carrying and therefore be able to make a choice out of the freedom of the gospel when we listen to Jesus. Use the time of silence for prayer however you will, but perhaps if you are carrying a resentment, take a look at it and see whether what you really expect is just not being met. One thing is needful. Let us respond to the gospel in silence and in prayer.